won't stop till killer cops or cell blocks can't stop.
The following newly released video portrays an incident of assault and violence at the hands of police. Viewer discretion is advised.
I suggest you back the fuck up.
This is Baltimore City Police Officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz. In a newly released video shot in 2016, Ruiz is seen with his knee on the back of an unknown man with a gun pointed at the man's head. His message was a clear one. Concerned onlookers, adhere to my dictates or else. Here, we can hear Ruiz saying to Baltimore residents,
I suggest you back the fuck up.
It is documented that Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz is a repeat violent offender, even without access to all complaints against Ruiz, undisclosed by BPD Internal Affairs records. 6 cases involving Ruiz are known. This video will briefly highlight 6 total cases beginning in July of 2013. Case 1, ABDUL SALAAM, July 1st, 2013. Here SALAAM is seen victoriously smiling in celebration after the jury found Ruiz and 2 other cops liable for brutality against him. However, because the trial was civil, not criminal, Ruiz was not fired and he did not go to jail.
Police profiled me. They followed me in the back of my house, harassing me. Police proceeded to violently and hostilely approach my van with me and my son in it. As I announced this was my home, guns drawn. Once they reached my vehicle, they violently pulled me out, ramshacked my vehicle with my 3-year-old son strapped in his car seat, threw me against the gate, slammed me repeatedly. Picked me up by my feet, and while I'm upside down, they proceeded to drop me on my head, hog tie me, and immediately when I fell on my head, Ruiz, in a wrestling type of action, and kind of hit his knee against my neck. I was arrested. I had no idea what I was being arrested for. My son is scarred to this day. He remembers the incident as it happened yesterday. When he talks about it, he always refers to Daddy being on the floor with police yesterday.
Case 2, DARRELL Harris, profiled, as seen in this video, July 17th, 2013.
Yeah, I said, what's wrong with it? There's no such thing as improper way. I know the law. I know the law. I know the law. What's the problem? You giving me a ticket? You need my license registration? The profile got used the seatbelt as a reason. Profile.
Can we take out your keys?
Yeah, you can record for what? Nah. I don't feel safe right now. Do you want me to step out the car? Do you want me to step out the car? I'll step out the car. Call the police, man. What are you calling supervisor? I want to do shit. This is getting uploaded to the internet right now. Yeah?
And we are 2 law-abiding citizens that we are getting targeted, and I don't know why.
Just 24 hours later, Bernardez Ruiz played a leading role in the police killing of unarmed Tyrone West. Case number 3, the murder of Tyrone West, July 18th, 2013.
My brother Tyrone West was brutally murdered on July 18th, 2013.
In both of these cases, when you look at the pleadings and the harsh language of these officers that have been quoted to me by reliable witnesses, the N-word.
And Killer Ruiz and Killer Chapman and the rest of those 11 and 15 killers, including David Lewis, took something from my family that they can never give us again. And that was my brother Tyrone West, one unarmed man who was brutally murdered, beat to death in broad daylight.
Mic check, mic check. This is West Wednesday number 412. We are here to call for justice for Tyrone West and for all victims of police violence. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. So again, I want to first of all say thank you guys for tuning in. And as my brother Ben said, this is West Wednesday, week 412. So 412 weeks, which is a very long time, we have been standing not only up for my brother, but literally for all the victims of police brutality and or murder. Like, it's a big problem. Like, as you can see, that it don't stop. It's unfortunately, some things stop, but that never stops. And it's sad that before social media, for over 400 plus years, we have been experiencing these type of horrible behaviors. At first they were slave catchers. They went from slave catchers to police officers. They went from the Ku Klux Klan to the Blue Klux Klan. This is real. This is our reality. And I feel very sorry for the few good men and women that we do have. I feel sorry for the few, and it's only a few, because if you could stand there and you see an unarmed person or even an armed person getting murdered, and you stand there and you participate, you are guilty as hell. Literally. So as you saw in that video, that was Ruiz. In case anybody don't know, real quick, on July the 18th, 2013, changed my family's life forever. A father was stolen, a big brother, the first grandchild, the glue of my family, literally. A big part of my family was stolen. When my brother Tyrone West, who wasn't doing anything wrong, wasn't committing any crimes, wasn't doing anything wrong. Only thing he was guilty of was driving black in a murder car. That was it. Driving a nice vehicle, which by the way was mine. I called myself letting my brother borrow my vehicle, in which I thought would be a safe haven, but it ultimately got my brother targeted. And the first killer cop, Ruiz, and that's why we playing him. He is a repeat violent offender. As you can see, and it breaks my heart every time that I see the video when you heard ABDUL SALAAM, who was almost murdered by Ruiz, Chapman, and Omar on July the 1st, 2013. Literally. Was Ruiz took off the street? No. Did ABDUL do everything in his human power by filing complaints, by doing everything right to save my brother and I's life without even knowing he was going to try to save anyone's life, but he filed complaints? It was to the point they disrespected ABDUL so bad. So bad. That's why I'm choked up. They told ABDUL SALAAM that if he called and complained again, they was going to come and rearrest him. Like, are you kidding me? Like, literally, he was drugged out of his vehicle for a so-called traffic stop when he had his seatbelt on. But Ruiz said ABDUL didn't have his seatbelt on. Pulled ABDUL out, and the beating began. But what saved ABDUL's life on July the 1st, that is not in this video, what saved ABDUL's life is an 80-year-old elderly neighbor. His neighbor, somebody's grandmother, somebody's great-great-grandmother, literally came outside because she knew ABDUL. That was her neighbor. She knew him, she knew his wife, she knew his child. And she put her body in front, and that's what stopped Ruiz. And that day ABDUL said, you know, I would have took it, but the fact that they did that in front of my son, who's always traumatized, and as you see, the baby relives it as daddy and the police were rolling around on the ground. Like, literally, he was being beat while they held this baby in a hot vehicle, car turned off while his father was getting stomped, beat, all these horrible things happened. So what happened? Nothing. Then literally 24 hours before my brother was murdered, you saw the video, real live footage of Darrell Harris. 24 hours before my brother was murdered. Ruiz, 2 blocks over from where they pulled my brother at for a so-called traffic stop. And let's keep in mind, anybody that knows the Gun Trace Task Force, the elite Gun Trace Task Force, and the notorious Gun Trace Task Force, okay? That were going around robbing people, planting drugs on them, doing all types of acts under the color of law. And we expect that because they arrested like 8 or 9 people, and then poor Detective Suter was murdered, But then they said he killed himself, and he was supposed to testify on these dirty cops. Well, guess what? Guess who was a part of that elite unit? Ruiz, the one you're seeing in this video. And now he is married to a state's attorney, Michelle Battle. See how biased that is? Do you see how corrupt that is? And that's why we can't literally get any type of accountability. We know that there's no statute limit on murder, right? So why is it that after 8 years we haven't gotten any type of accountability? They don't want to give it to us. They couldn't. And the saddest part, as brutal as my brother's murder was, the cover-up is far worse. You having people working at the medical examiner's office, guys. David Fowler and his flunkies. Yes, I said it. David Fowler and his flunkies. When my brother was murdered, killed on Kentmore Causeway Avenue, he was already dead when he was on that gurney. Who got into the ambulance with my brother? Guess what? The cops that murdered him were allowed to go in the ambulance and ride with him to Good Sam's Hospital. And guess what? It didn't stop there. Literally, the very next day, when my brother got the autopsy report, the autopsy was done on the 19th. Literally, guys, listen. The autopsy was done on the 19th. But literally, on the 19th, in that morning, before the autopsy was done, we had Detective Delgado, and we had Lieutenant Russell, Lieutenant Russell. So we had Lieutenant Russell, we had Detective Delgado and 2 other white detectives walk in my family home 11 o'clock in the morning to tell us the prediction of what the autopsy was going to say. They're like, we're going to wait and, Mr. West's autopsy report will be done, this afternoon. We're like, why didn't you call me? I'm freaking out. Like, why didn't you call me? You had my call, all my information, all that. They're like, oh, well, this is not CSI. We wanted to run his fingerprints. We wanted to make sure that was Mr. West. We wanted to make sure that there was no dead body in your car. All this foolishness. The dog and pony show. But literally, if that wasn't enough, they said, we want to make sure Mr. West didn't have any heart issues. We want to make sure that the weather, because we know it was really hot yesterday, we want to make sure the weather didn't contribute in Mr. West's death. We're going to cross every T and dot every I. We're going to let the chips fall where they may. And they didn't. All a lie. But literally, like I told you, when he murdered my brother, police that murdered him jumped in the car, in the ambulance, and witnesses said they described the scene of sadness, pure sadness, chaos, heartbreak. It was horrible. It was horrible, something that the neighbors of Kentmore and Causeway will never forget. But literally, they said that, when in a medical emergency, the ambulance pulls off really fast. Literally, Good Sam is not even 2 minutes away from Kentmore Causeway, 2 minutes tops. It took them 30 minutes to get to a 2-minute hospital. That speaks volumes. Everybody said, even a nurse testified and said that she, noticed that they didn't give him any type of first aid treatment. She asked, we told her, get the F back in the house. You can get the same thing. He threatened everybody. And guess what? In my brother's case, guess what? There were cell phone video footage. Just said that we are people that until we see a video of somebody getting murdered, we don't believe what the family said. We have to see something horrific that traumatized our families, and we see our loved ones, my brother getting murdered on video. Well, guess what? Commissioner Batts at the time, he went the very next day and collected all the cell phone video with his flunkies. They collected all the video footage. When they had that yellow tape that said only police don't pass this line, the police policed themselves. So they were clearing up and covering up themselves. And if that wasn't enough, literally they took all the cell phone video footage. We had nothing left. And then it didn't even stop there, guys. The same day that the autopsy was done, guess who was in the room while they were doing the autopsy? Killer cops, detectives, and Pamela Southall and David Fowler. And what did they do? Did we get that autopsy the same day that it was done? No. It took them 154 days, y'all, to give us our autopsy report. Literally. And if that wasn't enough, they wouldn't even let our funeral home come and pick my brother's body up. We paid my brother's daughter, love her, bless her heart, my queen. She paid her father's funeral just like that. She said, no, I'm going to make sure I got my father. I want to see my father. I want to see my dad. That's what she said. She paid that funeral off top dollar, paid it off. We said, we told Browns, go get Mr. West. We want to send. We were deprived. We didn't get that call to say Mr. West was murdered. No, it was a sisterly, brotherly bond. Even though we're many years apart, but I had that bond when he left me, and within a half an hour when he was murdered, I was feeling pain in my body. I knew something wasn't right. I'm calling my family, telling them something happened to Tyrone. Something happened to Tyrone. They like, what? Why are you freaking out? Say he's not answering the phone. I had all this pain in my neck and in my body. It stopped. Something's happening to Tyrone. No one believed me until it came to pass on the 10 o'clock news with video footage of people saying we took footage without cameras. To this day, no video footage. But they said we got the whole video from top to bottom. When they beat that man from across the street, he was yelling, Trayvon Martin, help me. He was murdered. But I said all to say the cover-up is far worse. Pamela Southall elected not to take any autopsy pictures. Why wouldn't? What person, what medical doctor in that profession know you're not going to take no pictures? Only pictures that ever was displayed in his autopsy, unfortunately, was this tag identifying pictures, toe tag pictures, none of the autopsy. But see, where they messed up, they killed the wrong man, like my cousin said, but they truly got the right family. They truly got the right sisters going to fight them. Literally, I took my own pictures, have evidence of the beating. Yes, I do. Not only did I do that, I videoed them walking in my family house telling us what the autopsy was going to say. I did that too. It's sad we got to do all this. And right now I'm actively working because David Fowler threw his own self under the bus because he's been lying. Every time a black man, woman, child is murdered by the police, the first thing they do is throw dirt all over their name. The first thing they do is make it seem like the person was high off of drugs to fit their excited delirium, to make it fit. They lied and said my brother had cocaine. My brother, I could put my whole life on the line. My brother in his whole entire life, on God, never used no cocaine. On God, and I don't play with God. I'm a Christian woman, don't play with God. On God, never used any cocaine. How do I know? Because we were just like that. The only thing he ever used was marijuana. But at the time he was on parole, so he couldn't even smoke marijuana. And all he kept saying says, they making me take a urinalysis every week. I can't wait till my parole is over with because I'm going to get me a nice fat J. He didn't even want to smoke a blunt because he's like, they might put chemicals. I don't know this new stuff. They got these blunts out here, but I don't want them putting nothing in my weed. I just want me to roll my J up and my white top paper and mind my business and live like a gentleman. That's what he always said. So for them to lie and say that, oh, you know it was on the popping. I got my brother's body dug up my own self, $50,000 plus. It was more than $50,000, but I had to borrow the rest. But the $50,000 I put up, because you're not going to lie on my brother. And 3 different people came up to the same conclusion that Tyrone West was murdered from positional asphyxia. He was murdered. Let's be crystal clear. But what did they say? Oh, he had a bad heart. He died from dehydration. Pretty much saying excited delirium without saying it. He lied on Antoine Black. They even lied on Anthony Anderson. They said Anthony Anderson had cocaine in his system. Anthony Anderson got murdered on his granddaughter's birthday. Literally. So I said all this to say, tonight I have a special guest on here. And my heart goes out to Timothy Fleming. Y'all know we've been lifting his name up week after week. And I kept saying I was going to get his brother to come on here, Willie Fleming. But he's on the bell because I told you he works all the time and things like that. But we still were lifting up Timothy Fleming's name because he was murdered. We saw that bullcrap video. But somebody to get gunned down 7 times and shot at more than that for a damn night. But yet you walk terrorists to accountability. You walk people that kill people, that gun people down. We saw Dylan Reed that went into a church, y'all, and gunned down innocent church people, a black church, innocent church people, gunned them down. Did Dylan Reed get murdered? Hell no. Dylan Reed got a burger from Burger King. They put him on a bulletproof vest. He didn't have a wrinkle on his shirt, and they walked him to accountability, and they still trying to walk him out of accountability. They're trying to walk him out by trying to say he was insane. But the stuff that they do to us that literally drives us insane, we can't say that. We can't say that. We can't dare say that. And all this capitalist system is worried about is money and people that are not our skin color. Let's be crystal clear. You see the foolishness is happening right now in Fells Point. You got Fox 45, Fox 40 Lies, I must add. They doing town hall meetings all up and down the street, got different panels, keep on saying, why the mayor won't show up? I'm going to give the mayor a big shout out right now. Yes, I am. High five. Because I was waiting for his ass to show up. When we got all this blood on our own damn grounds around the city. But as soon as it hit where white folks, business owners are, that's when y'all want to talk about it? Hell no, we ain't going for that. We ain't going for none of that. My cousin TYRONE Anderson was executed for no reason. I told you I'm starting at the pig's house first. Literally the night when all the shit hit the fan, excuse my language, but when it hit the fan about Ruiz having an additional 18 complaints, a half hour later, TYRONE Anderson gunned down in his car, literally. And they don't want to tell my family anything. So we'll be talking, we'll be coming up with y'all soon with what's going on, because they not going to play with my family. And last but not least, before I bring the sister on, I want to show you how the police department is a joke. Now, mind you, months ago, I came down here. This is about the complaint I filed. Now, remember, a while back, had to be about a good 3-4 months ago, when my daughter was actually pulled over and given a ticket in my name, not my daughter's name, in my name. And I'm like, oh, hell no, we ain't going for that. And then they find out the rookie officer that gave it to her that was saying all this stuff, but what you coming home from work, where you going? Must have thought it was me. And she probably, what you talking about? She gave him her driver's license saying her whole name, but yet Tawanda Jones get a ticket. I'm like, oh, I got their ass now. I got them. It's on and popping. I sent them, I said, let me file a complaint. Let me say I work, do I think it's a joke? Let me go through the process. Let me see if I'm right or wrong. Let's see what. So I sent them the ticket, sent them my daughter's driver's license, sent them my driver's license, and most importantly, sent them proof that that time frame that she got pulled over, I was at work. Sent them my whole clock out time in and out thing. Literally when I clocked in the morning, when I went to lunch, when I got off of work, at the time that she was giving the ticket, I was in my classroom. So it's no way possible I could be teaching class and getting a ticket. And I just want to read real quick what this foolishness says. And I want you guys to take careful notes. So think about the 18 other complaints that people took their time, and you got to write all your business. You got to write your name, your address, all this stuff. You got to get them all this stuff. They come back with some bull crap. It says, Dear Ms. Jones, the Public Integrity Bureau has completed its investigation of your complaint under PIB case number, and it got the case number, of course. The investigation has revealed that the available evidence did not meet the burden of proof necessary to sustain allegations. Nevertheless, I wish to take the opportunity to thank you for the time that you took to voice your concerns regarding the actions of the members of this agency. If you have any additional questions or concerns, please call this number, and they gave a bullcrap number, and refer to your case number. In closing, I would like to assure you that Baltimore City Police Department takes every complaint against any member of the department seriously. Get out my face. BS. You see me ripping it up, BS. I would use it for toilet paper, but that's all I'm going to say on that note. So it's a joke. It's just really sad. They don't take us, it's a joke. They take us literally for a joke. But I'm here to show you, and I'm here to prove that I'm not a joke. When you killed my brother, you killed the wrong man, but you got the right family. And speaking of killing the wrong man, again, you killed another wrong man. You killed Timothy Flemings for no damn reason. You didn't have to kill that man. This is a young black man.
It's 7
You
o'clock.
had no right to take his life. You're not judge, jury, and executioner. So tonight, I don't feel proud. I don't feel happy, because I don't want to welcome to anyone into this family and to this side of no accountability, no justice, just us. But tonight I have his beautiful sister, Angela here, and she will tell you what's going on, what she feels comfortable with, and if she want to talk about if they got their autopsy report back, things of that nature, and ways we can help this sister fight. Because guess what? If we don't help her, this will be another Black man murdered with no accountability, no justice, and they come back and say, you know what? The police act within reason. They did their job. They act within the scope of their job. So this is disgusting, sickening. But no further ado, we're going to bring on our queen. Mic check.
Mic check.
Unmute yourself, sweetie.
Mic check.
Yeah.
Good evening. I'm here to talk about my brother Timothy Fleming. He was pretty much murdered a month ago today in his home, May 16th. I had just saw my brother May 9th, Mother's Day. I just saw my brother May 9th on Mother's Day, and a week later, he's murdered in his home by 2 of Baltimore City police officers. Now, I'm not a resident of the state of Maryland. I'm a resident of the state of North Carolina. But justice needs to be done, and I want justice for my brother. I'm not understanding how it took 2 officers to go into his home and shoot him 7 times. 1 twice and one shot him 2 times, one shot him 5 times. He had a knife, yes, he had a knife. What happened to the tasers? I think they talked to my brother for every bit of 2 minutes and 20 seconds. It took them 2 minutes and 20 seconds to murder him in his home. 2 minutes and 20 seconds. With his family in his home. His mother, his son was in his bedroom in a closet. These officers come upstairs and just murder him. 2 minutes and 20 seconds it took. I watched the video of the murder on May 18th, 2 days after it happened, with the Baltimore City Police Commissioner. I was totally disgusted with it and by it. Police Commissioner couldn't give me any answers. I asked him what happened with the tasers. Why couldn't they use tasers? He didn't want to discuss that at the time. I want to know, when would he like to discuss it? I'm available to discuss it anytime he would like to discuss it. The mayor got on TV and said that the police officers did exactly what they wanted him to, what he wanted them to do and what they were trained to do. So the Baltimore City police officers are trained to kill Black men, apparently. That's how I see it. I also want to know why. Now, my family had to struggle to get money together to get this funeral for my brother's service. We struggled for that, but we did it. I also want to know why my brother's 2 sons are still in that home. I want to know why Baltimore City is not coming in and taking them kids out of the home where their father was murdered. My 12-year-old nephew has autism. He's not understanding Daddy's not coming home. He's not understanding Daddy is not coming home. He know Daddy is gone, but he's not understanding Daddy is not coming home. Why is he still in that house? Why are they still in that house? What is the city doing? What are they going to do? They're not doing anything. My family doesn't have a lawyer, an advocate, or anyone helping us. And actually today, Tawana Jones actually reached out to me for my brother, and I am so glad and happy to be here on this platform. And I plan to join every Wednesday as possible from here on out, because I need justice for my brother Timothy Fleming.
Sis, I just want to let you know I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so sorry that you and your family is going through this. You're not, like, I'm so sorry. Like, I know words don't cover it, you know, and we're here to help you in whatever which way that you need help. Like, if you have, like, you're trying to raise money to get an attorney, it's bad enough you had to raise money to bury them.
Yes.
And I knew what that felt like, because I wasn't planning on burying my brother. That's why I didn't have the money. He didn't have life insurance at the time. So literally, we had to nickel and dime up every penny.
Was my only little brother. My only little brother. Okay, he was my only youngest brother, and he wasn't my only sibling that's passed. He's my fourth sibling that's passed. And it's hard enough. It's hard enough. He was my third sibling that passed in the month of May.
I'm sorry.
And it's really, really hard. My brother, we call him Chris. His name is Timothy. We call him Chris. Chris had 3 kids that's underage. I want to know what the city is going to do for his kids since the Baltimore City police officers murdered their father.
Mm-hmm.
What are they going to do? He was in the home with his sons. He was an active dad. He wasn't a deadbeat dad. He was in his home with his kids. He was in his daughter's life. So what are the Baltimore City Police Department or the state of Maryland going to do for my niece and my nephews? I want to know that also. They need counseling. They need grief counseling. They need psych counseling. They need a lot. They need a lot.
And sis, I want to let you know too that Roberta's house, like, saved my life. I'm glad I got your personal phone number now, and I will send you that information. You can call them because that's the only thing that helped me get through this type of pain. And it's still hard, even knowing and having that. And I feel like I'm about to put myself back in counseling because I need it. Because so much
I'm
is
in
happening.
counseling.
Yeah,
I've been
like
counseling for years.
you just need, especially with so much happening. You get what I'm saying? But if you need, like, for the kids, they even have a cool program that I'm actually ready to get my children into. Like my youngest daughter, I'm ready to actually take advantage of their program. You know, they have a summer program. They're going to be going, even though it's going to be virtual, but it will be in person starting in September. But I'll make sure I pass you on that information, and they can help the babies learn to. In the sense of what they taught me was living our new life, like our old life with our loved one is gone. Like they're still waiting for them to come home. We can't move past that. It's like you have your loved one with you, and you're talking. You just see them on Mother's Day, and you're like, "That's your little brother," and everything fine, and you get that call like he been murdered, and then you see that bullcrap video because I saw the video. It was heartbreaking.
I saw the entire video. My brother was cremated. I'm picking up the urns on Friday for the kids. This is Father's Day weekend. This is their first Father's Day without their father. I'm going to drive to Baltimore, Maryland on Friday. I will be in your city on Friday, so I can spend some time with my niece and my nephews for Father's Day weekend.
That is
Because
so
they don't have a
sweet.
father anymore.
And if you need anything, like while you here, or like when you come to visit, just let us know. In what ways, like, do you have any information that you want to share for us to help? And I want to ask you something important if you could share it. Have you gotten this autopsy report back?
We have not received an autopsy report. We're being told that it's still under investigation. Since May 16th, a month later, today is June 16th.
So a whole 30 days you haven't gotten an autopsy report.
We have
Disgusting.
not received an autopsy report yet.
That's
No, have not.
Mm-mm.
Have not. My assumption is they're trying to cover their tracks in this autopsy report because it should not take this long for an autopsy report to come back. I'm not sure why it's still under investigation a month later either. I'm not law enforcement, so I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not law enforcement, but I smell a rat. They do all this stuff, especially in my brother case and all my brothers and sister cases around the world where I see this type of thing happen. They do all that to make it fit. They do all
And
that to
trust me,
make
I
it
believe that's what they're doing. They're trying to cover up all their tracks because it shouldn't take this long to get an autopsy report.
It shouldn't. Not at all. Not at all. Because literally, if not the same day they murder the person, they do the autopsy, definitely by the next day it's done. Within 24 hours it's done. So why are you waiting an additional whole 30 days? That's foolish. That's foolish. But against us, I will share with you once I get off the phone later, whenever you gotta leave, and after I'm finished West Wednesday, I will give you resources like that a lot of people don't know about. Like literally, when your loved one is murdered in the city, the resources that they have available. The resource that they will give your family and give his children. They don't know about that. They don't talk about that. So I will make sure that you do know about the resources that you guys are entitled to. You know that means nothing without having your number. That's nothing. That's
It's
nothing.
nothing
It's
because they
nothing.
don't have their father anymore, and I don't have my little brother anymore. So
No.
yeah.
So would you like to share any information that we can help you out? We're willing to share it. And I have over 5,000 friends, and everybody on this platform has a lot of friends. And this is, like I said, this is going around. So whatever you feel comfortable with sharing, we can, help you. If you want to share like your email, if you want to share, if you got like a cash app, because I know you say you're trying to get an attorney, and I know these things cost. So
Yeah.
whatever way you need us to help, please feel free to share it. If you want.
Yes, my family, we are trying to get an attorney. I will talk to you probably offline about
Okay.
a cash app and stuff like that.
Okay.
Later on. But yes, I do. My family, we do need help with getting an attorney. Like I said, the kids, I need help with getting the kids out of that house that
Yes,
they're
and
living in. That
and
my
I'll make
brother was
sure
murdered there.
and I'll make sure I walk you through this process the best way I know how. I'll make sure, because a lot of people don't know that you have a certain amount of time to file like a complaint. If you haven't filed the complaint with the civilian review board, that way that they work on getting this, even though getting an officer fired is nothing, but it's still a way to help. So I will make sure I hook you up with the person that's in charge of the civilian review board and see if they can help you. In whatever way, like I said, whatever resources that I can tap into for you, I'm definitely here to help you.
And I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, and I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for you and your brother, and like, oh my God, like, so when I saw it on Willie's page, I was freaking out because I'm like, he is a near dear friend of mine. And I
Yeah.
was freaking out literally when I saw it. I had to go, and we had went in front of the medical examiner's office that day because we were talking about having my brother case real. We did a news press conference right in front of the conference. I'm like, the gang has killed again. The gang has
Yeah.
killed again, literally. So I'm
Yes,
so
they have. They have. They've killed again, but like you said, they killed the wrong person, but they got the right family.
yes, I say.
They have the right family.
I say.
So it's enough of us to make something happen in that city.
Amen. It is. It's definitely enough. You got that right. It's definitely enough. So, yeah. So, and if you don't mind, I'm gonna go and see, because we normally have our guy that reads off like the questions and comments, but he'll be in around 7. I don't know. Well, he should be on. Is Marcellus on now?
No, he said that he probably is not going to make it tonight.
Okay, well, I can help with some of the comments I see so far. So, all right. So one of the comments I see, all right, is Hillary Hillerback says, mic check, share on a number of Facebook pages. And Bill Blight said, good evening, very pleased to be here with West Wednesday and the struggle to put killer cops in cell blocks. And Bill Blight said again, that's right, David Fowler and his flunkies, the ones who did what the police wanted and ruled Tyrone's death at the medical examiner's office as anything but homicide by the police. And wait a minute, I'm sorry. I scrolled down too much, okay. And okay. And Bill Blight said again. Wait a minute. Okay, and Bill Blight said, wait a minute. Oh, that's right. Tear that mess up. And Hillary.
Tear that mess up.
Yeah, tear that mess up. Okay, and Hillary says, sounds like they didn't use any de-escalation strategies at all. So wrong. And it's terrible. And then also Hillary says, yes, Roberta House should be able to help. And so far, that's all the comments that I see. So, yeah, mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
And so is there anything else that you want to share? Because I know I respect your time, and I know you were doing something before you got in. Like I said, I got connected to you at the very last minute. So again, I thank you for your time. Let's keep in touch, and let's get this accountability by all means necessary.
Well, I appreciate your time. I appreciate being on your platform. I think that's going to be it because this was like last minute for me, but I'll have more to say. Like I said, I'll be back on again. I'll be back next week.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you, and I respect your time. So
Thank
whenever
you.
whenever you're ready to go, sis, all you do is hit the red button. But I've been praying for your family. I've been praying for Willie. I'm praying for you, my queen, and we are here. Now we're gonna get accountability. We're gonna get some answers. So,
Thank
and if
you.
that means we gotta take it down to the commissioner and do a protest demonstration outside now that they're lifting the protest up, whatever we need to do, we're here for you, definitely.
That's the next
And
step. That's
yeah.
definitely the next step.
Okay, well, just let me know when it's on, it's popping. I'm ready. Whenever
All
you
right.
want
Thank
to
you.
hear it. And we
I will
there.
let you know.
I know it's gonna be a heartbreaking, like, and it's sad that the last time you spoke with him was on Mother's Day, and now we're entering his special day. You can't even wish your brother a happy
Happy
Father's Day.
Father's Day. I
Right.
cannot.
Yes, but try not to let the bad stuff outweigh the good stuff to help you through it. Just think of all your good times together. Think of how great of a dad he, was to his children, how great of a brother he was to you guys and everything. So think about just lift his name up in goodness. So when you start feeling sad, the like trick psychology, just think about the
Yeah.
good stuff. Think about the good stuff and it'll wipe it out. And if you pray, pray. If you want to write down stuff, journal, write it down, get it out. But and then know you got my number. You can reach me any time of the night, hour, whenever you want to. You can. I'll just listen, pray with you. Just listen. Whatever you need, I'm available.
Thank you.
Thank you, Queen. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
All right, so y'all heard it. Y'all heard it from our queen. So we're here to help support, her in whatever way we can, help the family. Like his father, he should be here to celebrate his children and being a good father. And it's just sad that children gotta grow up without their father. And it's sad because I look at how my brother children, my nieces and my nephews are growing up without their father. My niece and my two nephews. Like it's horrible. Like so, yeah. So we're here to support, and I will get back whatever information she shares with me that she's comfortable with. I'll make sure you guys have it in whatever way she need us to support us. We gonna support her. So I thank y'all in advance for helping. So just listen out. It's not over. It's just beginning. So she will be back. Like literally, she will be back. Whatever which way. Just be ready, guys. So. Yeah, so moving right on, um, I just wanted to talk about some things literally that are going on. And the one thing that really bothered me this week when I looked to see the things that were happening in Ocean City, and I'm like, the way like these officers, they don't even care if they're being filmed. They were stomping this guy head into the ground. And I understand that Uncle Bill has that report, and I would like for him to read this report if he's comfortable reading. So do you have that report?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you good.
Okay, so this comes from this morning's Sun newspaper. And it starts off saying that Lori Day keeps close watch of her 16 grandchildren. She doesn't let them out after dark from their home in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Not one of them, she says proudly, has been in trouble with the law. Even with all the fraught confrontations between police and young black men in America, she teaches her grandsons to respect the cops. Now she's fuming to see the cell phone videos circulate of officers in Ocean City violently arresting her 19-year-old grandson, Kamir Day, a freshman sprinter on the track and field team at Penn State University. Quote, "Go watch the video. It's ridiculous. They drag him across the floor like he's some kind of a dog. All that for a vape pen," she says. Sitting on the porch Tuesday of her Harrisburg home, her voice rises with anger and frustration. Quote, "It didn't even have to escalate," she says. "These boys are traumatized." Cell phone videos captured the arrest of Day and 3 other Harrisburg teens Saturday in Ocean City, drawing sharp criticism of the Beach Police Department. Ocean City Police said they approached the teens because they were smoking or vaping outside the designated areas, but the scene escalated with officers pinning the boys to the ground. In one video, a police officer rams his knee repeatedly into the side of one of the teens. The young man, Brian Anderson, was having x-rays yesterday, to to determine the extent of his injuries, his mother told the Baltimore Sun. Just like scores of teens across Maryland and southern Pennsylvania, they had loaded up their cars and headed for the beach last week in the annual rite of passage that is Senior Week. Back home in Harrisburg, the signs in their front yard say, "Congratulations, class of 2021." Parked out front of the home of Jatik John Lewis was the used car his parents bought him as a high school graduation gift. His father, Robert John Lewis, said it would help him start out life. One moment. As an adult. Now his son is facing 5 charges. "How are you going to start out with 5 charges?" his father said. "We worked so hard." Parents of the accused men talked about their pain and frustration to see their son wrestled to the ground and arrested, all of it stemming from the offense of vaping, which usually brings a citation and fine. The Ocean City videos have become the latest flashpoint amid the continuing debate over use of force by police and how officers confront young black men in America. The grandmother, Day, for one, wants answers. Quote, "Why did you touch him?" she says. "All you had to do was write a citation." The incident follows a June 6th arrest, this is an earlier case, of an 18-year-old man, Tazier Griffin, in Ocean City, after police approached him about vaping on the boardwalk. An officer tasered the Perryville man and charged him with resisting arrest and other offenses. That arrest circulated widely on video. Griffin's family went on national television Tuesday to speak out against the officer's actions. Quote, "Something completely menial turned into violating my child, treating him like he was an animal," Griffin's mother, Jessica Barber, told the Today Show on NBC. The video circulating on social media appeared to show Griffin and had his hands up as he was tasered. And the final part I'll mention, it says, typically the taser is a level of force that requires a high threat level or resistance, and it didn't look like we saw that from this video, he said. So those were 2 different cases of young black men in Ocean City being horribly mistreated. And while I have the floor, I want to say my heart goes out to you, Miss Angela, for the awful killing of your brother. And if I can be helpful, I would be very glad to be helpful. Mic check.
Hey, Tawanda, may I say something?
Sure, absolutely, please.
So I'd like to give 2 little bits of context to the Ocean City incident. First of all, Ocean City laws, the reason why they were able to harass this person at all is that the boardwalk is supposedly a smoke-free zone. The rules state that you have to be within 15 feet of a ashtray receptacle. That's the law. That being said, this law has been in place since 2015. I can't think of a single time where I've walked the Ocean City boardwalk and not just seen clouds of people vaping and smoking as they're walking up and down the boardwalk. And the reason why they're able to do that is because there's receptacles everywhere. So, them picking out and harassing this person was done on purpose. I see white people who are smoking and vaping all up and down the beach, all up and down the boardwalk all the time. So this is ridiculous. The other thing is that I also have a small issue with the article itself. I think it's a good article. I'm glad that they, did all this interview. But they started out the article by talking about this young man as a track star and a bunch of other things. It should be pointed out that that stuff is written for white people. It's written for white people because white people don't see the value in black and brown children unless they're told that those black and brown children are acceptable to society, that they have some kind of merit, that they're a track star, that they get good grades, that they're nice to their dog, whatever. Nobody deserves to be tased and have officers' knees in their backs. The article also doesn't say that those police officers had thin blue line American flag patches on their uniforms, which is a Blue Lives Matter symbol, which is a anti-Black Lives Matter symbol.
Mm-hmm.
The article doesn't talk about any of that. So, you know, there's a few dog whistles in the article that just talk about how, you know, white people just don't value young black and brown lives, period. And so they have to put those things in there to make white people care. And that extends to white police officers not caring and enforcing laws unjustly. Mic check.
Good point. Thank you.
That was a great point. My computer had died, but I had seen where AC Britt had wrote a comment, and it was to the extent of this is the harassment that they do to black and brown teenagers. It was to that extent. I can't quote it because like I said, my laptop, and that was really good, Ben. And I'm glad that you pointed it out. Like that was really good. So it's just sad, and this is just like our reality. And it's just saying, like, why do we always gotta prove ourselves as worthy of life? That's why I hate when I get on the platform with anybody, and the first thing they say, "Oh, humanize your brother, let them know." But like, no, I ain't gotta humanize him. He was a freaking human being. I shouldn't have to go up there. Oh, he was a father. He was an artist. Oh, he did. No, let's talk about those killer goddamn cops. Let's talk about them being road cops. Let's talk about them being repeat violent offenders. Let's talk about the dirt and the crud. Let's humanize like that. That's sick. And it's just like what Bill Ben said. I couldn't have said it no better. He told the truth. So if you're listening to that, you need to listen. If you wasn't listening to that, you need to open up your ears, get the wax out, and listen to it, because that was real. That was real. And that's our reality, and it's sad and disgusting. We always go, oh, he was a good father. It don't even matter. None of that matters. They are not judge, jury, and execution. They don't deserve to take our freaking life. I'm tired of proving to white America that our lives freaking matter. Because they don't give a damn. They don't give a damn. They really don't. This is really sad and disgusting. So I thank you, Ben, for breaking that down. That was really good. I really appreciate it on all levels. Like, it's sad, it's disgusting, but that's what we go through. And as you know, we always read off a sad list of the homicides in our city, as well as all the police brutality victims, in different states and cities. But tonight we have a long list that Uncle Bill has. And this is sad. And these are stuff that's happening literally in a week or in the last 2 weeks. That is sad and that is very disgusting. So I wanted to, before we go into the sad list that you're about to hear, just keep in mind that easily it's somebody's family today. It could be your family today. Don't have to wait until you wake up tomorrow. You can get that call today, tonight, that is your loved one. And then it breaks my heart, especially after being at my son's graduation and seeing the joy in his eyes of walking across that stage, surviving through a pandemic, surviving through all the hell, the trauma that he has been seeing his family go through, for fighting for accountability for his uncle that should have been there, that would have been there in the crowd cheering his nephew Jarrell on. He'd have loved to have been there. He was there for my daughter Jakia's prom. He would have loved to be there to experience the joy of my son. But my brother was murdered. He couldn't see my son walk across the stage yesterday. And then literally at my son's graduation, I'm having all type of emotional feelings. I'm feeling good. And then at the same time, I felt a little bit sad because I'm like, my brother should be here. And then every graduation, every highlight, we always had a thing that I would always go and ride to my grandmother's house and let her see them and give them a hug. She always got a couple dollars and good words. And now my grandmother's not here. This is really heartbreaking. Like, people don't realize this is what we go through. And we just supposed to keep accepting. We just supposed to keep on holding up protest signs and accepting this hatred that is forced upon us. And then literally what broke my heart, it was another one of the students of my son's school, literally, that was murdered. He couldn't even walk across the stage. And that was the most heartbreaking thing ever. They were talking about how, great the student was, how he scored academically, how he was, the funny one, that he would walk the hallways and tell people to get back in the classroom. And it sounded like a beautiful kid, a beautiful young man, but murdered. He couldn't even be there to walk across his own graduation. And then these MFers want to talk about what's going on with Fells Point when ain't nobody get murdered. Like all of a sudden, we got all this blood laying across the street. They want to make it about business on. They want, well, stop paying the rent for stores. We need to stop paying the rent for these high ass houses that got high water bills and all that. If we don't own the house, you need to stop paying rent until they make us sick. It's just sad. And so again, it's going to be a sad list that's going to be read on both ends. Two sad lists. And guess what? Police brutality, rubbish, street community violence. Guess what, baby? It's that highway of hell. It's connected. They want to play us like, oh, police brutalities over here and the homicides. And the first thing they say, y'all need to stop killing each other. It's all this black on black crime. Guess what? I don't dare call it black on black. It is community violence. Caucasian kill Caucasians. That ain't white on white crime. And we have a bunch of serial killers that's Caucasian. Let's be crystal clear. Asians kill Asian. That ain't Asian or Asian crime. So why is it black on black crime? That's another freaking way to tell us in our face our life don't matter. Y'all pull your pants up. Stop doing this. Stop doing that. And then, like, it's crazy. It's ridiculous. But before we go into the sad list, I want to tell you guys some traumatizing stuff that has been happening to my family, and I'm making a public announcement right now. And I'll be coming more underway with more stuff, but I'm not going to give it to y'all all at once. I'm just going to tell you now. It is a sick psycho that is acting like one of my dead relatives. They're acting like my Uncle Clifton Anderson that died. Guys, remember he died last year from cancer. We're still grieving him, like with all the other deaths and murders and all this foolishness that's happening. But for somebody to actually make a fake page and hit each one of my family members up on a personal way and on interesting days. And I'll get back to you on the days that they hit my family up and act like they're him and saying, hello, hi. Well, guess what? They got the right one. Because mind you, they sent everybody in my family something. But they didn't send me any friend requests. They didn't send me any message. So what I did was I looked it up and I started sending messages. Late last night, hey, hello. The same way you say hello to my family, hello. And then I took it a step further. I didn't know that you didn't have to be somebody's friend and you could call them. I started video FaceTime them. They wouldn't answer. Play with me. I want all that smoke. Don't play with my family. Whoever you are, you're a sick son of a bitch. Let's be crystal clear. You are sick and you need help. And like I said, I smell the pigs. I smell the police. I ain't even gonna lie. I smell the police. Everything until they are ruled out. I smell the pigs. Because like I said, they keep doing this stuff on interesting days. And I'll discuss those later down the line. But the days that they're hitting my family up, and the most horrible thing was the day that we were at my grandmother's funeral, y'all. They were going hit my cousins in the hallway up. They didn't hit me up, but I hit them up. Don't play with my family. So I'm telling y'all now, there's a lot of dirt, there's a lot of crack, there's a lot of stuff that they do. And I will be bringing it to you. I'm bringing it. So just stay tuned, listen out. Because at the end of the day, I don't want y'all to read my name off the list. Because they're setting it up. And I'm telling you, God forbid stuff happen, knock it down. Knock it all the way down. I'm saying it. Knock it down. Period. No questions asked. So as we go into the sad list, I would like for us to take a minute before Brian reads off. Well, I don't know if Brian's going to read the sad list tonight, but anybody that wants to read off the sad list, let's just take a moment of silence. 1 minute, guys, just to put yourself into that family safe space. Pray for them if you pray. Think about them. If you're not able to pray, just give them good thoughts and vibes and hope that their family gets through this. But guess what? Until you swallow that pill, it's a pill that you don't want to swallow. Whether your loved one was murdered by the police or murdered by another community person, it hurts like hell because that was not an act of God. That was your loved one is here and now they just gone. Just like that. They wasn't sick, they just gone. That's a hurting feeling. But the difference is, and it is a difference, when we find out it's a killer cop, you get no accountability. You gotta humanize your loved one. When we find out it's a community person and somebody is bold enough, brave enough to stand up and say, hey, I saw that man or that woman kill so and so, I guarantee you they'll never see the streets again. They give them a hard sentence, triple life, double life. You never see them again. But these killer cops, if they get any time, they get nonsense. They get everything. They get watered down, H2O. They get the H2O version. We get the hard raw stuff. So let's be crystal clear on those accounts. But moving forward, let's take this minute. 1 minute, guys, as Brian or whoever's going to bring our list of community violence. Again, you don't want your loved one being on this list. And guess what? It's going door to door. Soon it's going to hit somebody's door that we know. Just like I said, when we saw and we read my sister that is on here name, we read her brother name off. I was like, oh my God. And I had to be on here in a week and read my own cousin's name off. Tavon Anderson's name was on that list. So again, 1 minute, guys. Prayer, thought, 1 minute. Ashe, thank you guys so much. And you can bring the list, Brian. Mic check.
Mic check.
Thank you, Twanda. Yeah, I mean, we need to be we need to be here about accountability, about police violence, but that's really just the front line of a bigger war against violence in general and violence in our city and in our world. And so we want to lift up names of people who we've lost in the struggle against that violence. And this is since the 3rd of this month, on that day, Ali Bay. If you just echo their names back to me.
Can you repeat it once more, please?
It was Ali Bay.
Ali
Bay.
Keith Carter.
Keith Carter.
Michael Burley.
Michael Burley.
Terrence McFall.
Terrence McFall.
Tavon Jenkins.
Tavon Jenkins.
Desmond Williams.
Desmond
Williams.
Mr. Williams was killed on the 13th. Since then, there has been 1 killing on the 14th, 3 on the 15th, and 1 on the 16th. But we don't have those names, and so we will probably be looking them up next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian, because I know you get no joy in reading that list, and it's just sad. Like that's just so sad for anybody named to be on the list. Just think about it, guys. Those are somebody's loved ones. They might not mean nothing to you, meaningless to you, but that is somebody's loved one that means the world to them. At what point is it going to end? And meanwhile, all they could talk about is the violence that are happening now where money is. That's all they worrying about. Just like now, they're trying to take us out this pandemic. They said it starting July the 1st. Mask off. And I'm seeing people now, just like we ain't even in a pandemic. Everywhere I go, even in the stores, no mask. And I know that they're saying, okay, you know, if you got the COVID vaccine, it's cool. We know how we know everybody. They don't have like a sticker to say, oh, I got the vaccine. Like it's just said, but I'm gonna keep my mask on until I feel comfortable. You know, don't care. But it's just saying, then I think about a lot of families that are gonna be evicted. I really do. My heart goes out. Because you know, once they open it back up, lift that state of emergency up, literally all they got pretty much is like maybe August the 15th, if they give them that long, to scrape up backed up money instead of them saying, you know what, wipe it all clean and start in full effect by July something something. Y'all got to start paying y'all rent on time. They won't do it. It's just saying it's just horrible. But as we go on, I want to take one more minute now, guys, as Uncle Bill is going to read another sad list of police terrorism. We, you know, listen to this name. This hitting city says it's not a Baltimore thing. Sometimes he read things, and it's unfortunately, you met the sister of the name that we read a few weeks ago, last month. We met a sister today, and my heart goes out to her. Literally, like how many people are we going to encounter that loved one is on this list that nobody ever asked to be on? So let's take a moment and show respect, prayer, thought, whatever you do. Let's take a moment, 1 minute. All right, thank you guys for taking a moment for both lists, and thank you guys for tuning on and just sticking with us. So, Uncle Bill, mic check.
Mic check. Oops. When I hit that button, it knocked the computer screen. Let me find the list.
No problem.
All right. Here we are. So I'm reading the names of people whose lives were stolen by the police around the United States. We ended last week at West Wednesday with people killed by the police up through June the 1st. There are more names from June the 1st, and the information goes through June the 13th. And over those 12 days, the police killed 26 people. They killed 4 on June the 1st, 4 on June the 4th, 3 on June the 5th, 5 on June the 7th, 3 on June the 10th, and smaller numbers on some of the other days. 6 of the people have not yet been identified. For those that have, I'll read their names, and if you can repeat so we can uplift them as people whose lives were very unfortunately stolen by the police. First, from Ray City, Georgia, 48 years old, Donald Myers.
Donald Myers.
Also on June the 1st, from, I'm not familiar with this town, some Raleigh, Mississippi, 43 years old, Christopher Dias.
Christopher
Dias.
On June the 2nd, in Arvada, Colorado, 24 years old, Eugene Matthews.
Eugene Matthews.
On June the 2nd, in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and they don't give his age, Timothy Kemp.
Timothy Kemp.
On June the 3rd, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, this is where George Floyd was killed by the police as well, 32 years old, Winston Smith.
Winston Smith.
On June the 4th, in Tucson, Arizona, 45 years old, Raymond Edwards.
Raymond Edwards.
The next victim of police killings from Whittier, California, he has not yet been identified, at least not in the Washington Post. The next person on June the 4th in Rochester, New York, and they don't give his age, Timothy Flowers.
Timothy Flowers.
Also on June the 4th in Overton County, Tennessee, 42 years old, Jerry Henley.
Jerry Henley.
In Tulsa, Oklahoma, on June the 5th, 28 years old, unfortunately not identified. We cannot uplift his name today. On June the 5th, in Green Forest, Arkansas, 34 years old, Muang Tway.
Muang Tway.
I think, let me say it once more. I think it was Muang Tway.
Muang Tway.
Thank you. In Spalding County, Georgia, also on June the 5th, 29 years old, Stephen Wygand.
Stephen Wygand.
In Happy Valley, Oregon, June the 7th, no age given, Jeremiah Wright.
Jeremiah Wright.
In Scottsbluff, Nebraska, 47 years old, Danielle Ojeda.
Danielle Ojeda.
In Jefferson City, Missouri, 32 years old, Clay Willingham.
Clay Willingham.
In Round Rock, Texas, 39 years old, and this is also on June 7th, Antonio Diaz.
Antonio Diaz.
In Bayonne, New Jersey, June the 7th again, this person has not yet been identified by the Washington Post. On June the 8th, in Columbus, Georgia, 33 years old, Kevin Caldwell.
Kevin Caldwell.
In Espanola, New Mexico, 38 years old, on June the 8th, Luis Lebia.
Luis Lebia.
I believe we said his name correctly. I hope so. In Atlanta, Georgia, on June the 9th, 36 years old, Terrell Gass.
Terrell Gass.
The next person is not yet identified by the Washington Post. His life was stolen in Walker County, Alabama, and I don't know his age. Next person also on June the 10th, not yet identified. His life was stolen in Fulshire, Texas, was 53 years old. I apologize that we're unable to uplift his name. And again, June the 10th in Salt Lake City, Utah, a man whose name has not yet been identified. On June the 11th in Delaware Township, Pennsylvania, 70 years old, William Cradlack.
William Cradlack.
And if anyone is just coming in and watching for the first time, these are the names of people in the last 12 days, the most recent 12 days reported, whose lives were stolen by the police in various parts of the United States. On June the 12th in Wallkill, New York, 31 years old, Christopher Van Cleek.
Christopher Van Cleek.
Christopher Van Cleek.
And the last person that we'll be upholding tonight, he had his life stolen in Ackworth, Georgia on June the 13th. He was 20 years old, Luis Ruiz.
Luis Ruiz.
And I'll make two announcements. I first want to remind everyone that today, not only are we just a few days away from Juneteenth, but we are also actually today, this very day, is the day celebrating the, I'm not sure if it's 45th or 46th, it's a certain number of years ago in 1976 in South Africa, one of the most powerful struggles against apartheid and against racism began when middle school students had a march demanding an end to apartheid, and the police shot into that march. The first to die was a 13-year-old Hector Peterson, and that struggle went on for 2 years with a student strike that was persistent and powerful, and many workers also went on strike. And 18 years later, many of the people who first got their political experience in that great Soweto strike starting in June the 16th, 1976, 18 years later, they finally defeated apartheid. So the fight against racism is an ongoing, long-term struggle, and there are victories along the way. That was certainly one of them. So I want everyone to remember the Soweto uprising of 1976 on this date, or started on this date. The other announcement is that For those who would like to learn a little about communist political theory and how to organize a revolution to get rid of capitalism, we have the Challenge discussion. Challenge is the newspaper that Progressive Labor Party publishes. I'm a member of that group. And tonight we'll be reading 2 articles and talking about them that deal with Israel and Palestine. And that'll be at 9 o'clock. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Awesome. So again, I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank our special guest, Miss Angela. And again, my heart goes out to her family for the brutal execution of her brother, Timothy Fleming. So I just want to thank you. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in and just, you know, being here. And also, guys, my foot is hurting real bad. I was running from a cicada today at work, and oh my God, I twist my foot and it's hurting bad now. So I can imagine how it's gonna feel in the morning. Like, I just had to get up and walk. I caught such a bad cramp just now, and I had to get up, and I'm like, felt like I was about to fall over, like. So like, and it's crazy about the cicada ain't hurt me. I hurt myself, so just running from it. But nevertheless, I just wanna thank you guys and let you guys know police brutality is real. Like, it should not be this long. Apparently they feel comfortable no matter where you go. And I always talk about finding that safe place. Where are we safe in this world? Where they don't value the life of brown and black folks or humanity. Because guess what? And it's not only brown and black folks, because we do have Caucasian folks that get murdered. So as we brought you guys in with this video, we're going to take you out. Thanks again. Live to love, love to live. Mic check.
Mic check.
Yeah, and very good to meet you, Miss Angela.
Thank you. Nice meeting you guys too.
And Mr. West begging for his life, and Mr. SALAAM begging for his child to be excluded and comforted from what was taking place. Not for himself, but for his 3-year-old child.
Case number 4, Adina Britt and family, September 10th, 2015.
My name is Adina Britt, and I wanted to submit a 30-second testimonial that Jorge Omar Bernardez Ruiz is one of the 11 terrorists that came into my house performing a home invasion in September 2015, terrorizing my entire family and even holding my 12-year-old son at gunpoint. He needs to be stopped.
Case number 5, unidentified arrestee, assaulted in 2016.
I suggest you back the fuck up.
Again, this video did not surface until the summer of 2020. Case 6, Thomas McCullough, May 2016 and February 2017.
I heard my front door coming off the hinges like it exploded.
Thomas McCullough says it happened twice. In May 2016 and February 2017, Baltimore City Police burst through his green front door and raided his Pimlico home.
They said, police. They come up, shotguns, guns.
He says officers ransacked the place, looking for drugs, money, and weapons. He took pictures of the damage he says they left behind.
Tell us where the drugs are, the scales, the guns, and them large amounts of money.
Nothing was found. Now he's suing police, claiming officers, including a former member of the gun trace task force, frightened him, his wife, and father-in-law when the officers conducted what his suit calls an illegal search of his home. The owner of the house tells 11 News after the second raid, he had to replace the front door. McCullough and his attorney say they want Baltimore police held accountable.
There is a colossal breach of trust.
And McCullough tells us following both raids, no one was arrested or charged.
This all begs the question, when will Baltimore City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby see the prosecution of Bernardez Ruiz as warranted?
They were the stopping officers in these so-called jump out cars, unmarked and so forth, that stopped both the West vehicle and the SALAAM vehicle without probable cause. And these officers are the ones that also were joined by others, but they are the ones who initiated the stops, pulled both men out of the vehicles, and commenced the vicious activity that was thrust upon them.
And the officer Ruiz that started this attack is still working and working with promotions. He is now sergeant. But the fact that this repeat violent offender had a history leading up to my brother. There was Darrell Harris, there was James Green, Joseph Green, ABDUL SALAAM, and my sister Dina and her family. No one family deserves to be brutally murdered or brutalized by this repeat violent offender Ruiz. It is time we take action. The time is now.
Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardes Ruiz is a repeat violent offender. Based on these accounts, in accordance with the law, we, the West Coalition, call for him to be fired, prosecuted, and incarcerated.
We're more than hashtags and body bags. We're more than being 6 feet in the dirt and pictures and buttons on t-shirts. Our lives matter.
For the safety of our city, the prevention of further harm, and the justice for these families, we see no other option.
And again, I'll say, the time is now.